Okay, this is going to be the last video I do, at least for this particular track. And this time I'm going to show you how to render. Okay, so for rendering out a file into an actual track, you'd come up here and render as. Okay. So this is all songs I've already gotten done, and you have some options here. For one, you can set it to render loop region only, which would be this, so it would only render out the first, looks like 9.1 seconds of the track, which I never use that. I've only accidentally used it a couple times. I don't really know why it's there. You can do customize things, which again, this is really for pro work here. Although I do recommend filling out your tags on everything, but there is an option within your, I believe it's properties, yeah, that allows you to put in title, artist, engineer, copyright, comments. And you can even put in media catalog number, which is an interesting option. And you can set it to start all the new projects with those settings. You can also set your basic sample rate and bit depth. 44,116 is base. I have never had any cause to fool around with that, and again, some of that stuff is just for real hardcore users, and I'm aiming all of my videos more at the home recording enthusiast more than the crazy hardcore the recorder. But I'm sure at some point I'll get into all of that stuff myself, and then I'll do videos about it. So, rendering. Okay, you got your name here. It's still set at making the track 3 and making it more interesting, because I was stupid and did not save it again. Save as here. Making the track 4 with FX. Alright, now we can render it out. Yay. Alright. For starters, you got different templates here. Types. You got AIF, MPEG, 1, 2, and of course 3. MP3 is your basic format anymore. You got OGG, QuickTime, Real Media, Perfect Clarity Audio, which would be real high-end audio, which means extensive. It doesn't cut anything out. That's one of the things a lot of people don't realize about MP3 is that it does cut out pieces of the songs. They're not really immediately noticeable, but I guess you could say it's kind of like taking a crayon and muting the color at the extreme ends of each of the spectrum that crayon, the color spectrum that crayon is in. It isn't immediately noticeable. In fact, what the MP3 is cutting out is stuff that is pretty much inaudible, or in the case of the crayon, it would be stuff, aspects of its spectrum that are unseeable. But because those aspects do add more color to the whole mix, it does make the whole overall song, or in the case of the crayon, the color more muted or less colorful. And unless you have really good ears, and really know music, it's hard to explain. It's something you will notice. Basically, this is just different versions of, it's just different file formats. Different people have different preferences. If I'm recording something raw, I go with WAV, which is just raw audio, exactly what you're recording, or you have on the workspace is what's exactly going to be recorded or rendered out into WAV. Or if it's something I want to put up online, or just for putting into a player, a media player, I go with MP3. So I'll go ahead and put it on MP3 because that's what most people are going to be wanting to use. You got your default template, which is fine. Personally, I go for highest quality every time because it just sounds better. If you're wanting, but the thing is, higher quality equals more megabytes that you're going to be taking up on your hard drive. So just keep that in mind. In this case, it's oh, here it is. In this case, I usually go with either 160 for something I'm putting up online, or 320 for something I'm saving onto my own hard drive for my own personal use. At 160, it is CD. Well, it just depends on how good a quality you're wanting. The kbps right here is kilobytes per second, which means that's how many kilobytes are going to be taken up per second on your hard drive. So for a 2-minute track, you're taking, for example here, that would be 320 times 120, and that would be your megabyte. That would be how much space it would take up. Obviously, for really long tracks, you don't necessarily want really high quality. Shorter tracks, high quality isn't as big a deal. It just depends on what you're wanting to record it at, where you're wanting to put it. In this case, I usually go for, like I said, for putting it online, 160, sometimes 192 to 256. It just depends. But 160 is CD quality, lower end CD quality, but it's good enough for putting online because it's not a really high per second rate, but it gives you what you want. So you select that, then just save, and it renders out. And my system renders out in about 2 minutes is the longest I've ever had, but that was doing really high quality wave with an almost 8-minute song. So it just depends on your computer on how long it takes, and that's all there is to rendering. If you're really new to this, I suggest looking up all the different file formats, but it's not really necessary because WAV and MP3 are really the standards. In fact, all of the loops are WAV files, as you can see right here. All loops are WAV files. They're raw audio. So that's really all there is for rendering. That's, for the basics, that's the important stuff. And thanks for following along. We've rendered out a track. We're done with it, and I hope you learned some fun things, and go experiment, have some real fun. I was just showing you around the program with this, so have some fun, experiment, and be sure to let us know what you come up with on the site. There's the forum on there. That's what it's there for. See you next time. Later. Bye bye.